Welcome back to our Java design pattern series. In the first episode, we did the singleton pattern. In the second episode, we did the factory method pattern. And now in the third episode, we're going a level deeper. What if you need to create groups of related objects, not just one? For example, what if your app needs to support both light and dark themes, and each theme has its own set of UI components like buttons, checkboxes, and text fields? That's exactly where the abstract factory pattern shines. All right, what actually is the abstract factory pattern? The abstract factory pattern provides an interface for creating families of related or dependent objects without specifying their concrete classes. Where factory method is about creating one product, abstract factory creates multiple products that belong together. Some use cases are UI frameworks with interchangeable themes, light, dark, high contrast, whatever you can think of, cross-platform components, Windows, macOS, Linux, dependency injection frameworks like Spring Profiles or any other thing. All right, now let's dive right in. And I need to be small to do that. All right, let's look at the code. Let's design a component factory that can create theme-specific buttons and checkboxes. We'll define abstract product interfaces, concrete implementations for light and dark themes, and the factories that produce the correct combination. So I've already pre-programmed everything. So we have a button interface, which just has a render method. I have a checkbox interface, all right? And what I've done here is I've created a dark button, which renders a dark button, a dark checkbox, and a light button, etc., etc., right? So we have, for every one, we have two implementations, a dark and a light one. So these are the interfaces, and we have a dark button, which adheres to the button interface, which it implements here. Same for the light button, but then it's light button. Same for the checkbox. Now, we also go through our abstract factory interface, which is the theme factory. And the theme factory has a create button and a create checkbox method on there, which returns a button and a checkbox. We don't know what it is, right? Because there's an interface that we're talking to. All of this is interfaces using interfaces to be sure that we don't know anything about the implementation. Now, let's create some concrete factories. So we have a light theme factory. It implements the theme factory interface, which we've seen here. And what it does here is returns a light button and a light checkbox. And the dark theme factory does the exact opposite. It returns a dark button and a dark checkbox. Now, using the abstract factory code in our application, we have a button here, private final button, private final checkbox, and then we have an application. When we run it in the constructor, we say the button is a factory of create button and the checkbox is create checkbox, right? Then we have a render UI method here, which renders our button. So it calls button.render and checkbox.render. And when we do all of that, we run this method, right? So we have a theme factory here, and we have a string called theme. And for now, the theme is dark, right? This could be a user storing it into a database, and then you retrieve it from your local storage on either the browser or I don't know where it's stored. It could be stored anywhere, but you know that they have a dark theme. And then it checks, this is an ugly check, but you know, anyways, if theme is dark, then it returns the dark theme factory, and else it returns the light theme factory. So now we create a new instance of application and we pass in our factory, which in the case that is shown here is it passes the dark theme factory in. And now what it does is it creates a button and a checkbox, and it says factory.create button, factory.create checkbox. So now if we go to our dark theme factory, right, it returns dark button and dark checkbox. Great, right? Now, if we go and check that, it calls render UI, and what render UI does is of both the button and the checkbox calling its render function. So now let's just run the code real quick. And there you go. It renders a dark button and a dark checkbox. Now, if we change this to light, then it renders everything to a light theme. So it passed in the light theme factory, and then it did the whole thing again. So the benefits of this design pattern is consistency. It ensures compatible object sets are used together. It's extensible, easy to add new families. You can add a high contrast theme by just creating a new high contrast theme factory. That's a hard word. And then you can just, keep doing what you want to do. You just have to check here, like, oh, is it high contrast? Then I pass in the factory and then all of the objects are created. And scalability, centralized object creation logic helps avoid duplication. So we don't do it anywhere else. We just do it in the factory and we can reuse that factory where we want to. The downsides of this is that it leads to a lot of overhead. So you can have a lot of classes and interfaces. We have a lot, we have a lot of stuff here. But still, it has the benefits. And for some smaller applications or with simple or static configurations, it might be overkill. So for this example, I took a really simple example. It might be overkill, but let's say you have a huge theme and you add text inputs and selectable fields, whatever, radio buttons, then it might be super nice to have. But, I only added the checkbox and a button for this example. But just imagine it growing way out of proportion and taking care of all of the stuff that a dark theme or a light theme takes care of, then it's really nice to have this. Some best practices is use the abstract factory when you need a system independent way to group related products or objects. Combine with dependency injection for maximum flexibility and make interfaces truly abstract. Behavior should be handled polymorphically. In this episode, we build a cross-theme UI component system using the abstract factory pattern. It allowed us to create entire families of components like buttons and checkboxes in a structured and scalable way. In episode 4, we'll move into the builder pattern, perfect for step-by-step object construction like building complex user or order objects with optional parameters. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode if you found it helpful. Happy programming and see you in the next one.